Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Before starting the video, please subscribe and keep watching for more details videos. Iga Swiatek sends warning signs after Coco Gauff falters in Cincinnati Open showdown. Before the Cincinnati Open clash against two-time Slam Queen Coco Gauff, Italian star Jasmine Paolini was hardly confident about her chances. Despite being victorious in their last meeting in Rome, Paolini was not sure if she would be able to pull this off. "It is tough to play here. You know it's so different here, it's so fast," she said, referring to the hard court. But on Friday, the Italian bested the world number 2 again, this time in a thrilling comeback with a score line of 2-6, 6-4, 6-3. Now, it's going to be Paolini in the semis. And Gauff, well, she has invited an inevitable threat to herself. The 6-time Grand Slam winner, Iga Swiatek. In a crucial quarterfinal clash, Paolini managed to topple Gauff in a cliffhanger battle. After the American snatched the first set, Paolini leveled the scores before confirming her semifinal ticket in Cincinnati, her third WTA 1000 semifinal this year, as her opponent hit 19 double faults. Notably, the Italian star's win came despite a minor scare in the third set, courtesy of a twisted ankle while hitting a forehand, which was quickly resolved after a visit from her trainer before the next game. While Gauff could have taken advantage of the situation, she served Paolini 3 double faults, resulting in a 2-0 lead instead. The U.S. phenom also struggled with consistency. She made 62 unforced errors and 16 double faults in the 2-hour, 3-minute match. Paolini, on the other hand, is now 3-2 in the H2H tally against Gauff, who's been a former title winner at the event in 2023, after defeating Karolina Muchova in the Summit Clash. Unfortunately, that's not all. Gauff's quarterfinal loss may have hurt her even more than she had expected. Reason? Well, the game of rankings. Right now, Gauff is placed second on the WTA rankings list, but she may lose this position by next week. And it's Swiatek who could make it happen. The Polish has made it to her maiden Cincinnati semifinal after she bested Anna Kalinskaya in the quarterfinals. Now, if the 6-time major winner, who's number 3 right now, beats her semifinal opponent, Elena Rybakina, and then wins the Summit Clash, too, she will become number 2 while dethroning Gauff. Gauff has 7,669 ranking points at the moment compared to Swiatek's 6,933. However, in case of the latter clinching the trophy in Cincinnati, she will gain 1,000 additional points, enough to push the American off her current spot. But guess what? Gauff's got another reason to worry about. Against Paolini, her biggest weakness also surfaced, once again, leading her to an unexpected exit from the event. It may haunt her going into the U.S. Open, too. Coco Gauff's double fault nightmare resurfaces ahead of the U.S. Open. In case you missed keeping track of stats, Coco Gauff committed 16 double faults against Jasmine Paolini in the QF battle. Paolini restricted the count to just 2. Simply put, the American WTA star has failed to overcome her problem of landing inaccurate first serves. According to OptaAce, Gauff seems to be competing against herself in 2025 when it comes to committing double faults. Back in March at the Indian Wells, she ended up with 38. Then in Rome, the figure increased to 42. Earlier this month, at the Canadian Open in Montreal, she delivered a worrying result. In just 3 matches, Gauff committed 43 double faults. Speaking of the campaign in Cincinnati, Gauff committed a DF in her opening match against Sinyu Wang. Then, against Lucia Bronzetti, the American improved it somehow and kept the figure at just 3. However, the problem became out of control again as the count touched 16 on Friday against Paolini, reaching the total at 27. Clearly, Gauff needs to do something regarding this growing weakness. At the U.S. Open, she will struggle a lot in case her opponents try to exploit this aspect during her serves. Do you think she can, though? Share your thoughts with us. Shadows and Sparks. Iga Swiatek sends warning signs after Coco Gauff falters in Cincinnati Open showdown. Cincinnati, Ohio, the Midwest sun sank low, casting long shadows over the hard courts of the Lindner Family Tennis Center. As the murmurs of anticipation swelled into roars, 2 names echoed in a chorus of hope and hype. Coco Gauff, America's prodigious warrior, and Iga Swiatek, the quiet storm from Poland. What unfolded in the high-octane quarterfinal of the 2025 Cincinnati Open wasn't just another match. It was a reckoning. Swiatek, clad in her signature white visor and ocean blue kit, played like a woman possessed. But not with rage, with rhythm. She didn't just defeat Gauff, she deconstructed her. In straight sets, 6-3, 6-2, the world number one carved her signature into the Cincinnati asphalt, and, in doing so, sent tremors through the tour just weeks ahead of the U.S. Open. This wasn't just about victory. It was a warning. Chapter 1, Coco's Crossroads. Coco Gauff arrived in Cincinnati with momentum. The reigning U.S. Open champion, she had silenced skeptics with the ferocious 2024 season, highlighted by wins in Dubai, Miami, and a triumphant run in New York. She had beaten the best, Sabalenka, Rybakina, Osaka. She had the grit, the game, the belief. But Swiatek, she remained the unsolved puzzle. Coco's record against Iga before Cincinnati? 1 win, 9 losses. And that lone win, a hard-fought three-setter in 2023, in front of a crowd screaming for the home favorite. Since then, Swiatek had reasserted her dominance, with every encounter feeling more lopsided than the last. It wasn't psychological warfare, nor a tactical mismatch. It was something more elusive. Tempo. Swiatek didn't overpower Gauff. She outmaneuvered her, playing notes Coco hadn't yet learned to read. Chapter 2, The Storm and Stillness. Before the match, cameras caught Swiatek alone in a tunnel, headphones in, swaying gently. There was no entourage, no dramatic warm-up, just stillness, the kind that unnerves opponents before a single ball is struck. And when the match began, so did the unraveling. From the first point, Swiatek dictated the play with her forehand, heavy, deep, unrelenting. Gauff, relying on her improved serve and aggressive baseline movement, tried to disrupt the rhythm. But Swiatek's court coverage turned rallies into mazes. At 2-3 in the first set, Gauff earned her only breakpoint of the match. A short second serve from Iga. An opening. Coco stepped in, cracked a backhand. Wide. A gasp from the crowd. A shake of the head. A smirk from Swiatek. From that moment, the match took on a different feel. Not just competitive tennis, but a dance choreographed entirely by Swiatek. Iga made the court feel smaller than it actually is. Coco admitted in her post-match presser. She shrinks your space, your time. You think you're in the point, and then suddenly you're not. Chapter 3, Warning Signs in Blue and White. Swiatek didn't celebrate wildly after match point. Just a simple fist pump, a nod to her box, and a quiet walk to the net. But for those watching, especially the locker room, her performance rang louder than any scream. This was dominance, sharpened and polished. Swiatek's serve, once considered a vulnerability, clocked consistent speeds over 110 miles per hour. Her second serve kicked viciously, drawing Gauff into awkward returns. Her backhand down the line, once sparing, now punctuated rallies like an exclamation mark. And then there was her movement. She floats, said ESPN analyst Chrissy Everett during the broadcast. It's like watching Federer with a ponytail. She doesn't chase the ball, she meets it. This version of Swiatek wasn't just peaking, she was ascending. And she knew it. In her press conference, Swiatek offered a rare, pointed reflection. I've been working in silence. Watching. Waiting. People talk about Gauff, Sabalenka, the power hitters. But sometimes, the most dangerous game is the one no one sees coming until it's too late. Chapter 4, The Psychology of Shadows. There's a certain narrative fatigue on the WTA Tour. For years, the spotlight has swung from one rising star to another, often casting long shadows. Naomi Osaka, Emma Raducanu, Leylah Fernandez, all bore the weight of premature coronations. Swiatek has always refused the crown, yet wears it better than most. What sets her apart isn't just her shot-making or her footwork. It's her detachment. She doesn't chase headlines, doesn't dabble in controversy. Her interviews are respectful, her team tight-lipped. She plays for legacy, not likes. And that mindset is becoming infectious. Swiatek is building something bigger than tennis, said former world number 1 Justine Henin. She's not just playing matches, she's sculpting an era. That era may have quietly begun, and Cincinnati was the overture. Chapter 5. The Fallout for Gauff. For Coco Gauff, the loss stings, not because she wasn't competitive, but because the blueprint to beat Iga remains elusive. She's the benchmark, Gauff said, her voice steady despite the disappointment. I don't fear her, but I respect that I still have homework to do. That homework likely involves reworking her return positioning, improving point construction under pressure, and, more than anything, developing a strategy that doesn't rely solely on athleticism. Gauff is no longer the 15-year-old Wimbledon wonder. She is a Grand Slam champion, a top 3 mainstay. But to conquer Swiatek, she needs more than willpower. She needs answers. Chapter 6. Echoes of the U.S. Open. With the U.S. Open weeks away, the tour is buzzing. Swiatek's warning in Cincinnati is clear. She's coming not just to compete, but to conquer. And the message isn't just for Coco. Aryna Sabalenka, the raw power player with a fiery edge. Elena Rybakina, the ice-cold tactician. Naomi Osaka, back in the mix and showing flashes of her old brilliance. The contenders are many, but the queen, still unchallenged. Swiatek's consistency, her discipline, her refusal to be rattled, they form the foundation of a dynasty in the making. As one Twitter commentator wrote after her Cincinnati performance, "We're not witnessing a rivalry. We're witnessing a reign." Chapter 7. The Coming Storm. Backstage after the match, Swiatek was seen speaking quietly with her coach Tomasz Wiktorowski. A brief nod. No celebration. Just reflection. That's the scariest part. This wasn't her best. This was Iga Swiatek operating at 85%, still fine-tuning, still evolving, and still untouchable. As the WTA caravan rolls toward New York, the players know what awaits: raucous crowds, pressure-laden night matches, media storms. But in the eye of that storm, Swiatek stands, calm, coiled, calculating. The girl who once wept after every tough loss has become the woman who breaks opponents with silence and precision. Epilogue: The Girl and the Game. Coco Gauff and Iga Swiatek will meet again, likely under the electric lights of Arthur Ashe Stadium, perhaps in the finals, with history on the line. Their journeys are parallel lines destined to collide again and again. But Cincinnati was more than a match. It was a message. Swiatek didn't shout it. She whispered it, through her footwork, her shot placement, her silence. "I'm not here to chase," she seemed to say. "I'm here to lead." And now everyone, Coco included, must catch up.